Hey, hey, it's your girl KV. Get myself a little more light. That's better. It's your girl KV back with another Married to Medicine season 10 review. So, my initial thought was that I was going to do part two and part three together. That's why I did Love is Blind first yesterday, because that was my thought. But then I get to the YouTube today to, see about Carlos and Heavenly's live, their Messy Monday recap. And I am just seeing other things, other things that might have some information worth reviewing. And I don't feel like doing a third video. So since the bulk of the stuff was in part two, I'm going to do part two today. And tomorrow I'll do part three and add on Messy Mondays. And Carlos King has dropped an interview with Simone and Toya. And also, Heavenly on her Patreon sat down and talked to Quad. So I'm going to put all that on. It's either going to be Wednesday or Thursday. Probably Thursday because I drop Hood Health Report on Wednesdays. But I got my nail appointment on Thursday. We're going to see, y'all. We're going to see. By the end of the week, we'll have part three and all of the etc. interviews. But today, I'm going to just wrap up part two because it was the lengthy one. Yeah. Season 10, episode 15, reunion part 2. Was it 15? Who cares? Quad and Jackie and their sidebar. They're talking about how, some of them were speculating that Quad was behind the resurfaced clip of Dr. Jackie saying that Black women cry wolf and we just want days off, and that's why when Black women are pregnant they be crying wolf and act like they have so much pain and da da da, basically going against everything that she says on TV cameras. I don't even know the purpose. I didn't watch the full thing. They said it was like 2 years ago, and I'm wondering, had I seen it before and it just slipped my mind, I never talked about it or what. But yeah. And Jackie tells Quad, I'd rather lose a friend than lose myself. What does this mean, Jackie? Nobody's gonna make you lose yourself. Being friends with Quad ain't gonna make you lose yourself. That message you did on Heavenly's live, that'll make you lose your career if you keep on walking around talking about how Black women cry wolf. But how would a friendship with any of these women make you lose yourself? It was just very, very annoying. But she basically, took this as an opportunity to let Quad know, I thought it was you, or I thought it maybe could be you because I haven't spoke to you in a while. I don't know what you are capable of. We aren't included in your life anymore, Quad. She tells Quad, we text you. I text you sometime. Quad said, yeah, I'm kind of bad with text. And we call you and you don't call us back. Well, I've been missing those calls, but I call back eventually after a few days sometimes. Even though Jackie was getting on my nerves, I appreciated this moment because at least Quad is taking some accountability. They reach out to you, you give them nothing in return. So for you to be upset about them not including you or them not feeling close to you anymore, it's a cyclical thing. It's a cyclical thing. So they eventually kiss and make up for the sake of their friendship in the past and the sake of this show. So that was going on to a break. So she also goes to make up with Simone backstage. Apparently, they were good for a while until the season aired, and for Quad, all of those feelings started to resurface. And a lot of the girls say that on these reality shows. They say you go through it 3 times because you go through it when you're living it, you go through it when it's airing and you watch it, then you go through it when you gotta track back at the reunion. So it's kind of expected in a way, especially when you get to see the plotting, how they plotted on getting you up off this trip. So I'm sure it is hard for Quad to try to move forward, or not even try to move forward, but like to have moved forward, and then this airs and you like, dang, you said all of that about me? You ain't tell me that you said all of that about me. So I can see where it would be hard for their friendship. But they they make up. They make up. She kisses and makes up with mostly everybody. When they get back on the stage, Toya, I guess now that everybody else is on the same boat and ain't nobody here to just, hate Quad with her, she says, I'm glad that you can admit that we mean something to you. That's what she says to Quad. I just chuckle it off because I'm like, oh, now that everybody else ain't got the smoke for it, you ain't got the smoke for her neither? Because did she come and apologize to Toya? Did she come and say anything to Toya for Toya to have a change of heart? Or she just see everybody making up with her? So let's bandwagon. And that relationship between the girls and Quad, it's so difficult and so fragile because from the beginning, Quad was kind of brought in to be the lesser than project girl. Project girl as in a little hood, and we got to work on her a little bit more. That is literally how Mariah brought her to the group. Quad was dating her drug dealer cousin. When the drug dealer cousin got locked up, she didn't want to see Quad just kind of, la-di-da. Ended up taking Quad under her wing, as she says, and really being there for Quad and putting her in this medical circle. I can't remember if she said she introduced her to Dr. G or if they met Dr. G when she was out with her, because Aiden is a doctor. But Mariah literally brought her in to be that, okay, she a little rough around the edges, y'all, but she got a good heart. That's how they brought her in. So I think some of the ladies, Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone mainly, and Toya as well, they all wanted to keep her in that lesser than category. They always wanted to keep her in that we gotta school you, we gotta let you know what's up type of category. So when Quad started making a name for herself and got on Sister Circle, I think Quad started feeling herself because she's like, yeah, y'all can't stun me no more, so what's good? And they were like, well, Quad acting funny because XYZ. And both things can be true. We saw it happen. We saw where Quad would tell them, I'm about to go with my real friends. I got to film with my real friends in the morning. I'm going to lunch with my real friends, talking about the Sister Circle girls. And how she just completely would diss them. She wouldn't call them no more, wouldn't text them no more. And it just kind of put everybody in a bad situation. So then once Sister Circle ended and she didn't have that built-in friendship like she did when it was going, she kind of came back over to the Married to Medicine ladies, not quite with her tail tucked, but she came back over there like trying to pick up where she left off. And they just weren't having that. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them one bit. But we're not going to act like for the past few seasons, Quad had been kind of disjointed from this group since her divorce. And I feel like that was the turning point for real for her, because nobody had her back when everything was going on. Granted, she was trying to protect their image and wasn't given the full details of why she was getting divorced. We talk about it plenty of times. She was just making it seem like, well, he not taking out the trash and I gotta do this and I gotta do that, when in reality there was a lot of abuse going on. Like I always remember, you slammed me to the ground. You pulled a knife on me. You held your hand over my mouth. You took the battery out my car. You was snatching TVs off the wall. Like he was over there acting a plumb fool. And a lot of people felt like, well, I don't know if it's abuse or if they just over there fighting, because their first season on the show, was it their first season? The first couple of seasons of the show, one of the side storylines for Dr. G and Quad was that she had got arrested because she had put her hands on him and he called the police. So I guess a lot of people just felt like, oh, he not really abusing her, they just over there fighting. And I can see where that comes from, but a man should never be fighting a woman. So I can see where Quad was kind of done with them when they, were still trying to make excuses for the situation with Dr. G. But if that's the case, girl, leave the show. Why even keep trying to force these relationships and force this fake closeness just for y'all to argue and to be in this roundabout way? And granted, she shouldn't have to just leave a check just because, but it's like, if it's hurting your mental like she claims it is sometimes, it's just like, money or peace of mind, which is more important? But it seems like they've made up, which we'll talk about in the next review, and just kind of fleshed all of that out. Next, we see the sweet tea package, and of course, they end with talking about her endometriosis, and she says she has had surgery and they're trying for a baby. Andy asks her, so, what about the infertility thing? Are you technically infertile? She says, well, to say if you're infertile or not, you have to be trying for a year, and if you can't get pregnant, then you're deemed infertile. So we're only a few months in, so we can't say for sure if I am infertile or not. Then they hop on this conversation about how Heavenly and Quad were on Watch What Happens Live, and they said that T wears fake labels. They said that T wears fake labels. Heavenly said that Letitia said to her that, she be going to the swap meet, basically, trying to buy the fake bags because she deserves nice things too. And, she want to be able to have her design a purse when she out with these girls with all this money and stuff. On her live, Heavenly said that clearly she, buy fake designers and wear fake labels because they ain't got it like that. She ain't got it like that yet. Remember, she had them tags on her clothes at the wine event, and it wasn't even like it was hundreds of dollars. It was like a $30 tag that she had because she was going to take it back. Oh, man, that cracked me up because I remember Show thinking that, like, she had the tags on this outfit. This wasn't even no designer or nothing. Like, okay, that's not my business, though. I ain't counting nobody else's pockets. They get to arguing, and you can tell that they sliced and diced this scene up because they talking about Quad saying something about T, and T is like, well, I guess we'll just go ahead and go there. Heavenly already said on her most recent live that Quad was talking about the abuse that she faced at the hands of Dr. G and how it was so much deeper than what any of them knew. But they cut it out because, it's just not a good look for the show. It makes them look bad for bringing him back, makes him look bad as a doctor, especially a psychiatrist, that you out here doing all these things to your ex-wife. So that's the conversation that was happening. And Letitia got mad. It's like, if you moved on, just move on. Move on. You don't need to keep talking about me and my husband. And Quad was just like, I'm talking about me and my ex-husband. That is my experience. I'm going to talk about it if I want to talk about it. Very true. All facts there. You knew what this man was. You knew what it was. Forget Dr. G. Even if you never watched an episode before, Letitia, which I do not believe. Even if you never watched an episode before, to know that he had these abusive ways and they had all these type of problems, cheating and such, you knew that you were signing on for a show where his ex-wife is main cast. So for them to be like, him talking about, yeah, Quad makes me uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable being around her. And for her to think that Quad ain't gonna talk about her ex-husband who has just come back on this show with a new wife, it is so ridiculous to me. Why come up on this lady's job and expect her to tuck her tail and hide from you? That's not how any of this works. That's not how any of this works. Mind you, I don't know when the timing of the filming, but for the viewing public, Letitia, you was throwing slugs at her when you did the house tour. I don't know where that fell in y'all's line of filming, if this had happened before filming, after filming, and you knew some of the things that she was saying about you. Who knows? But you've thrown your slugs too, girlfriend. But like I said, it don't make sense for nobody in this situation, because Quad put up such a fight about, oh, y'all bring this man back. Y'all know he abused me. Y'all know everything that we went through. But then here you are on the finale in his face asking for a hug. Why are you trying to hug him if all these things happen and you don't really even want to be around him? Why even force yourself into physical contact? It's one thing to say hey and keep it pushing, but why even force yourself into physical contact? That annoyed me so much. That Timosa is popping. I did that. Next, we talk about Heavenly. Wait. Okay, next, they talk about how Letitia, you started all of this stuff. Well, I'm not gonna say it's all. You started some of this stuff because you brought up Greg and said that he was controlling and said that Quad was probably right about a few things. Letitia acts like none of that happened. She acts like none of that happened. And I'm like, girl, you know that this was filmed, right? You know we all watched you and Heavenly take those tequila shots. Heavenly set her up. I'm not gonna lie, Heavenly absolutely set her up, because as soon as they sat down, Heavenly was like, she getting married, we need some tequila shots, we need some tequila shots. And Heavenly was there before Letitia. Letitia claims that Heavenly was taking water shots while she was taking tequila shots. And she was just trying to get the tea out of her. I can believe it. I can believe it. But with that, Letitia, you wrong. Just because she ordering these tequila shots don't mean you gotta take them. That tequila shot would have been sitting right on the table until that food come, and I could have put a little something on my stomach so I ain't just out here drunk and babbling. That's one thing I don't play with, just taking them shots. I don't like shots no way. I sneak and take a third of the shot and hold it in my hand so people can't see the glass, and just kind of sip it. And once I get to my cup that's got my mixed drink in it, I'll just dump it in there. I can't do shots, y'all. My shot limit is one shot. Now my drink limit, I drink a little bit, but shots, no ma'am, no sir. So I feel like that moment was the downfall of Letitia and Heavenly, because Heavenly got Letitia drunk. Well, Letitia let Heavenly get her drunk, spilled her guts. Quad was right about a few things. He is controlling. He is that. He is this. He is that. And Heavenly ran with that, as anybody on the show would do. I can admit Heavenly can be a little hellion, but anybody on the show would have took that back to at least some of the girls. You know, that wouldn't have been a secret if we're filming this. So they mentioned how Letitia said online that Damon was a cheater. Well, how do you know this? How do you know that Damon is a cheater? She said, well, Heavenly said so. She said that, which Heavenly didn't say straight up he a cheater. She just said, you know, I don't count nothing out, basically. She was like, well, when you said when Mariah had the receipts that you believed her and this, that, and the third. But it's like, that's not saying her husband is a cheater. Backstage, we see Dr. Damon is pressing Dr. Gregory about, so you think I'm a cheater? Because I guess it must have been some pillow talk. That's how they came up on the situation. he pressing him about is he a cheater or not, and this was just so like, whoa, how did we get here? Like y'all ain't even on the stage yet. How we getting here? And Curtis and Cecil jump in because Dr. G like, I don't know. I don't be with you every day. I don't know what you do. I can't say if you a cheater or not. I don't think you are, but like, I don't know. Curtis and Cecil jump in and they pressing him with, just answer the question. Da da da. It was very extra. He was talking in circles, but eventually he says, nah, I don't think you a cheater, man. And Damon was like, my man. And they slap five and keep it pushing. Next, we see Sweet Tea asking Heavenly, why were you online talking about my fertility issues? Why would you say that I lied to Dr. G about my fertility issues? And here's my thing. Maybe she didn't lie to Dr. G, but she lied to us for a storyline, it seems like, to make it seem like she was finding out this information fresh. Because I feel like on one of the lives, they asked her, why didn't you tell Dr. G all this stuff prior to the season filming if you knew you had irregular periods, you knew that you had these issues? And she replied, I did. He did know. I did tell him. But then the season plays out as if she's learning all this stuff for the first time. So that's the part that is confusing to everybody because, you know, which is it? Is it the storyline? Okay, we was just playing it back so that it can make sense and we didn't have to rush through it. Or were you really finding out like this? So she asked Heavenly that, and Heavenly said, well, I think somebody asked me a question, and I said if it were me, I would have gotten second opinions, and I would have known, you know, a long time ago. Letitia not paying attention, not listening. She just waiting to react. How would you have known about my situation a long time ago? Heavenly said, are you listening to me? I'm not talking about you. I said if it were me, I would have known before getting on this show. So how you think you gonna know my business and this and that? What makes you think that you could talk about my fertility issues? At this point, Heavenly is over it. Heavenly's like, girl, I done answered you 3 times. Now going on now. You trying to get a reaction up out of me. And you finna get it. You trying to get some emotions up out of me. And you finna get it. Heavenly stands on the fact that people were asking her and she was simply answering. But to be fair, Heavenly was going in on Letitia about her fertility issues. And although it's wrong, I can see why. Because it just didn't make no sense. Like I said, the fact that she said, it wasn't until she said, holy crap, y'all, these cats, I almost jumped out of my skin. Oh my gosh, y'all. We got these neighborhood cats. I don't know. It's probably a lizard under my she shed. So my she shed is directly outside of this window. And it's a cat right here that's just hanging out at the she shed like she trying to pounce on something. I know y'all just heard her do that. What's the minute mark so I can go back and listen? 23 minutes. So I can go back and listen and see if y'all can hear her and how good y'all can hear this cat. Because I almost jumped out my skin. I'm so glad I wasn't drinking at the time. Oh my gosh. These neighborhood cats are OD, y'all. They are so extra. The black one, it's the all black one out here right now. Yeah, it must be a lizard because she's staring at my she shed like she finna bust the door down. There's an all black one. There's like a gray and white one. And then there was an orange and white one. A couple of weeks ago, I saw the orange and white one on the side of the road in our neighborhood. And a few days later, I saw some hawks eating it up. And I was just like, dang, rest in peace, little cat. But these cats used to taunt my dog. Rest in peace to my dog. I don't know if I ever brought that to the YouTube. We had to put my dog down a couple weeks ago. She was just very old. She was like 16, 17 years old. And, you know, the health was very much declining. So they used to come and taunt my dog all the time. And now they be playing at the back door with my baby because she be like, oh, mommy, it's a cat. It's a cat outside. So they still be coming around. Like I said, I think it's like a lizard or something hanging around my she shed. Because sometimes I go in my she shed and it'd be a little lizard that then came through the cracks. One of them tiny little baby lizards. Anyway, I don't even remember where I left off, y'all. I don't even remember where I left off. Oh, Lord. Okay, Letitia and her fertility issues. For me, it was the moment when she said, well, I've had, very painful, very irregular periods all my life. And, I just didn't know that something was wrong because nobody tells you that you're supposed to have a period every month. And nobody tells you this, that, and the third. And all the things that she listed was very much things that they tell you. The doctor, health class in school, they tell you you're supposed to have a period every month. They tell you that, painful periods, you might need to get on birth control to help with that. You might have to do this. You definitely need to talk to a doctor. So that's what made me feel like she was putting on, because she literally wasn't making any sense, especially for somebody that was in the military where you're going to doctors to make sure that you're healthy enough to do XYZ. I'm sure they asked her these questions. So although I do not agree with how intense Heavenly would go in on her about it, I can understand how she got there, because it's just like, girl, what are we talking about? What do you mean? Jackie interjects and says that it takes about 8 years to confirm/diagnose endometriosis, and the diagnosis is surgical. You don't know until you're in there and you see that lining, yada yada yada. She said that's because a lot of women dismiss their pain. I said, which is it? Do we cry wolf or do we dismiss our pain? Is it Uchiwali or is it one mic? We can't have it both ways, boo. And Simone backs her up on that. She says, yeah, endometriosis, you don't find out until, so much later, this, that, and the third. Even if she didn't find out about her endometriosis, she had to know that something was wrong. She may have not known the severity of it, but she had to have known something was wrong. That's, the stance that Heavenly takes, that I take, a lot of fans take. They are blowing my phone up, child. What is going on? So next they talk to Dr. Alicia. Dr. Alicia likens her first season into being in a psych ward. How, sometimes it's all calm and chill, and next thing you know, people screaming and acting all crazy. Girl, you should include yourself in that number. You are the psych ward's craziest patient. You are, while you trying to SHIT on the other ladies. They asking her questions about Dr. Kima, and I'm like, how many times do we do this? I feel like they did this so many times throughout the reunion. They're asking her questions about Dr. Kima. They asked him, how is it that his first time watching the kids is when you went on this trip? And she's like, I enjoy being a mom. And being a mom is one of my greatest prides. And I love being with my kids. And just because I want to be there for every breathing moment does not make him a bad man, because he is not. He likes to work and take care of our family. I like to be there for the kids. It still sounds crazy to me, because isn't the oldest daughter like 4? So you haven't even as simple as went out for a drink with your girls and left the kids at home, even if it wasn't like a whole weekend. Like, the kids have never been at home with their dad until now. Wild. So she's just making all these excuses for his misogyny, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. It's so wild to me, because it's like, we wouldn't know these things if you didn't tell us. So for you to start your season off dumping on your husband, talking about how you told him he wasn't a real man because you're the one that was picking up the hammer, and talking about how you wanted to divorce him because he was, making you do everything while you was pregnant, but then you want to sit here and tell us we doing too much when we ask you questions about things you said. We don't need Dr. Alicia back. We really don't. We really, really don't. We really don't. I'd rather have Anila and Contessa back than to have Alicia and Sweet Tea. We can even bring Audra back. I think Audra's got, something. But Alicia and Sweet Tea, they both do and say things on camera, and then when they're embarrassed by it, they come back and try to act like that thing that's filmed for the world to see never happened. The delusion. As the kids say, you living in Delulu. Okay. Next, they talk about how Toya is if the lady supported Toya. Toya, did the lady support you with your wine venture? She said, yeah, you know, um, everybody basically supported me, but you know, Heavenly always looking down on me and saying I'm lazy and this, that, and third. So, you know, Heavenly kind of, you know, cleans it up a little bit. Okay, I was wrong when I said she never worked a day in her life. Clearly, she's worked before. She was a teacher. She did this. Toya has her master's. She's educated. But, you know, she's a lady of leisure. She don't work hard. Toya said, I just make it look easy. I said, okay, that's fair. Next they asked Toya about how open she is about talking about sex with the boys, because they played a clip back where they told the boys, they're like, you packing? Yeah, I'm packing. Don't look in there, you're gonna find something you don't want to see. They said, condoms? Eugene was them like, why would we have condoms? And then the other was like, a vibrator. So they kind of had that little laugh, and she's like, one of the boys is just like Eugene, one of the boys is just like me. They was learning about sex at school, and I asked him straight out, do I need to go erase your browsing history on your tablet, on your iPad? And he was like, yeah, because I wanted to see what vaginas look like. And Qua interjects with a little story about how when they were close and she was over there one day, the son had unzipped Qua's jacket and was just staring at her boobies like, woo, boobies. Next, they asked Heavenly about the Enfamil in the cabinet. She said something about how Damon is allergic to regular milk and he has to drink the Enfamil soy milk. That's the only thing that works for him. Which sounds absolutely ridiculous, because with all of the dairy-free milks that exist, there is regular soy milk, there's pea milk, there's oat milk, there's cashew milk, there's almond milk. All of the milks, he gotta have some daggone Enfamil. That just sounded crazy to me. People were saying they think Damon got a side baby. That was real dumb to me, because it's like, even if Damon were cheating, because I don't put nothing past nobody, Damon could have him a little side dip out there. I truly don't think that at 50-something years old, he would be dumb enough to slip up and get a side chick pregnant. Like, come on now. Come on now. And this brings me back to Mariah. I'm so tired of her saying she got these receipts. Her and Buffy been doing these little lives, and she still be claiming that she got these receipts on him. And Damon, he came to her and asked her not to reveal them. I said, if this is what we saw on TV, he didn't say, hey, don't reveal whatever receipts you got. He basically said, hey, stop starting mess with me and my wife. Okay, don't do that. He didn't say, whatever you got, don't reveal it. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. And like I said, it's just not believable that she has receipts, because if she has receipts, I'm sure that somebody else has these same receipts, and they would have been leaked them. They would have been leaked them. As much as receipts drop from a random blog every day, somebody would have dropped these receipts on Dr. Damon. And like I said, not to say that he ain't cheated or he ain't never cheated or he not cheating. I don't know. I feel like anybody is capable of anything. But a side baby and receipts, okay. But I agree with Letitia on this one. Letitia said she hiding the grandbaby. Heavenly over there hiding the grandbaby. And that's the more believable story of it all, because we all know that her sons, especially one of them, did not want to film. I think she said it was like 1 or 2 seasons where nobody knew that she had a third child because he refused to film. So if he refused to film, I could definitely imagine him having a child and refusing to let his mama let that news be known. That makes the most sense to me. They mentioned Sweet Tea saying that Heavenly Mama was in hell, and she apologized for that, because Heavenly was saying, to hell with this show. Sweet Tea, listening to react and not to understand, thought she was saying go to hell and said your mama in hell. And Heavenly said, actually, it's okay. That's okay. Because since you said that, excuse me, since you said that, my sister has reached out to me and we are talking and texting more regularly. That cracked me up, y'all, because Heavenly Sister was not talking to her for years. One Sweet Tea on there bad mouth and talking about some your mama in hell. Heavenly Sister called her up and said, what's up with this girl? I saw this clip. Somebody showed me this clip with this girl talking about some mama in hell. Do I need to come to Atlanta and we need to go ride out real quick? Cause we can ride out. Cause it ain't nothing but a thing. Okay. She got me up and she got you up and we will cut up. Okay. That cracked me up, y'all, because you know that's about how the phone call went. So they're talking more regularly, and Andy basically tells Heavenly, like, you seem different. You seem changed. Heavenly said, well, I've been going to therapy. I realized that I never grieved my mom, and, she never cried when she was little, and she's working on all of that now. And I agree. Heavenly is, even though she's still quick at the mouth with some of the things she says, she will admit when she's wrong more often now, and she'll apologize, because she used to just apologize to get past it. Now she'll admit that she's wrong and say what she did wrong and apologize for it. You can see a change in Heavenly. She's still going to be a production plant in a way that she's going to do what needs to be done to move the story like it needs to move, but besides that, which might sound so contradictory, Heavenly is genuine. I don't think, even being a production plant, Heavenly don't ever say nothing or do nothing that she wouldn't have done without, the push of somebody. So, I don't know. Sounds contradictory, but Heavenly is still my problematic fave, and ain't nobody gonna make me hate her. Okay? So next, the men meet up with Andy, and he asked Dr. G about Phaedra and the $4,000. Yes, she asked me for it, but I didn't have it. I should have lied and said I did have it. Have you guys ever gotten intimate? He says, not in real life. Everybody said, what? You fantasize or something? What are you talking about? He says, I thought that we was getting close to it a few times, but now we never did. This was so disrespectful to all three of the women. Phaedra, his ex-wife Quad, his new wife Letitia. Just disrespectful, because it's really giving the impression that Phaedra is the one that got away. Like, you should have been with Phaedra. It's really weird the way that he keeps addressing his answers to these questions about Phaedra. So Andy asked the guys, what's the hardest part about being on TV? Cecil, have you seen Tammy since that reunion? No, I haven't seen my golf buddy. I got new golf buddies. Andy asked Greg why he lied about the robbers in the house. He wanted to trick Letitia into doing what was right because she never set the alarms. He said that it was wrong of him to do, though. Eugene, does it bother you that Toya rated the butcher shop date a 7? He says no. I know my wife. I know what I signed up for. It didn't offend me. Kima, do you think that the men don't have nuts? He said, no. I just mean that I don't live by that happy wife, happy life stuff. I gotta be happy too. And that's fair, but it was such a far jump to say that the men don't have nuts or you ain't cutting off your nuts and all that stuff that he said. Eugene said, nah, to me, you were saying that women do too much. Kima says in relationships, not in society. He said, nah, you meant in general. Like, you described what you meant and you said it. I feel like a piece of me thinks that Kima might have been playing, trying to be a part of the all boys club, but then he didn't realize what men he was sitting next to, and that all these men make less than their wives because they get so much money from this show. And all of these men are okay with their wives living how they want to live as long as it's respectful to them. So yeah, he kind of put his foot in his mouth a whole lot. Eugene said, well, me and my wife are equal. Kimmy said, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that 50-50. It's more like 51-49. Damon is basically like, Good leaders ain't gotta do all that. Good leaders ain't gotta brag on this and that and the third. They just lead. I said, come on, Damon. Come on. And Kima also claims that him saying that the well-trained thing was a joke. But he wasn't joking about the oral stuff. He really don't be doing that oral stuff like that. So that was the end of the guys' time. Now they're all coming out on stage together, and they see that there is an extra chair behind slash in between Phaedra and Quad. Everybody's like, Quad, you got a man coming out, Quad? Who you got coming out, Quad? She like, I ain't got nobody coming out. I don't know who that chair for. We all know who that chair for. Apollo. Apollo is coming to the reunion. Although we have not seen or talked about Apollo this entire season, Phaedra has not uttered that man's name. Only time his name been mentioned on this season is when Toya said, I would think that he would be here at the kid's birthday party. That's it. But somehow, some way, some why, he's here at the reunion. So yeah, y'all, we'll get into that in a couple days when I do that review as we finish up Married to Medicine season 10 with part 3 of the reunion and all of these daggone interviews that done dropped today. So I hope y'all enjoyed the review. Let me know what y'all think. Like, thumbs up the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment, let me know what y'all think. And yeah, I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye-bye. Dang, this was much longer than I expected it to be.